All right, what's going on? Welcome back to another Real Talk. I pray everybody's doing well on this blessed day as we off top. Once again, give all honor, all glory, all praises to the Holy Spirit. Look at them back then and look at some of them now who's still alive. This is a video response back to you, Mr. Craig, Strongman 63. You want to know my little 2 cents on um, steroids. And very, very great email. I agree with I agree with everything you said in that video. From a well, let me do this video like this because back in the day, I was heavy off into weightlifting, very heavy. But I never once got into steroids. Oh, they tried to give me. It was always something about steroids that didn't sit right with me. And I looked at how a lot of the people I was working out with around was jacked. You know, back in the day, we say, boy, you jacked. I was the smallest one in the room. But I did everything naturally. And back then, my problem was I had something to prove to the guys that was bigger and swollen than me. They put 300 on the rack. I want 300 on the rack by me being the smallest one. I'm telling you, I was in there with some cock-strong dudes, man, especially Big James and Big C. And Big C was my trainer. And I would go to some of the weightlifting competitions, see these guys in person, man, how big they upper body be, how strong the veins popping out. But then a lot of them, their legs was very little. Some of them had strong legs. But I had to say, do I want to look like this? And steroids have been around a long time. But I tell anybody that's watching this video that's heavy off into working out, don't do it. Don't do it. If you look at some of these guys now, I got a chance to meet some of them in person, like Paul Dillette. When you see Paul Dillette, oh, hey man, look at Ronnie Coleman now. Look at the shape Ronnie Coleman is in. And even if they wasn't juicing, if you want to use that term, some of them was just overworking themselves, doing too much, the heavy weight, the heavy bench pressing, the heavy squatting, et cetera, et cetera. And as you get older, man, that stuff break your body down. And that's why some of them start having those heart attacks, strokes, you name it, speeding up the heart. There should be a way where you say, hey, I'm going to work out naturally and I'm not going to get all crazy with this. Because look at most of them now. I just named a few. But look at most of them who was on steroids. Look at their body now. Look at the shape they in. Some of them can barely walk. Some have died. Even back then when wrestling was real popular, back in the sportatorium day, man, a lot of them guys was juicing. Steroids ain't new. It ain't just in bodybuilding and wrestling. It was in all kind of sports. Baseball. Y'all remember what they accused Barry Bonds of doing? I don't know if they ever find it to be all the way true or not. With Barry Bonds, you know, they was having that stuff going on back then with him and steroids, but steroids destroys the body. And one that was real popular when I was growing up was D-balls. I don't know if it's still around. And everybody was talking about, man, get on D-balls. And then you would hear conversations like, man, it make your sex drive mess up, man. It make your penis little. You start hearing all kind of things. And even back then, I'm like, why in the world would I want to put something like that in me anyway? Working out naturally is a beautiful thing. See, like I said a minute ago, I had a point to prove. If I would have known in my older years now, if I would have known now, if I'd knew it back then, I would have worked out a totally different way because my thing was I was training for size and not shape. Training for size. And that's why I still have my look. A lot of people ask me, man, you still hitting hard? No. But back in the day, I would try to outlift anybody that came in the room. I asked my big brother. He'll tell you. Cats bigger than me, smaller than me. I didn't care who he was. Let's go. That was my mentality back then. Put the weights on the rack. Let's go. Because I was going to try my best to outbench whoever. I don't care if you putting 400 on the rack. Let's go. And I snapped at it because I got tired of changing clothes size. 1 minute I'm a 3X. Then I'm back down to a 2X. Trying to go down to a 1X. Then want to be a large. Then going back up to 2X. Going back up to 3X. Want to be 4X. No, I got tired of that. I'm just talking for me. I want it to be the same. One size. But I got caught in the height. But not once did I do steroids. Not once. See, I don't like drugs. And drugs don't play a part of this body right here. That's why I say I've never smoked a day in my life. But getting drunk is a whole nother. Yep, I done got drunk, brothers and sisters, before. And thank the Most High for deliverance from that. But as far as all that smoking and pausing, and I'm not saying that to say I was better than nobody, because getting drunk ain't no better. Whether you're high, drunk, either way it go, you're messed up. And I left all that alone. I changed the way I was eating. I changed who I was hanging around. My heart changed, so my actions changed. I repented from everything I've done in the past. And I want it to be clean, not drunk. I wanted a holy lifestyle. Am I perfect? No. Can't be perfect in this. But to those who died behind steroids, those who still use the steroid, they gonna see in the long run what it's gonna do to their body. And then some of them, man, I can get on and get off. I can quit. I can quit. Don't let nobody peer pressure you into that, man, because the side effects of so many of this stuff that's out, you don't want that to happen to you. I was looking at that Ronnie Coleman special on Netflix a while back. To see Ronnie Coleman in the shape he's in, man, it's heartbreaking to look at. But Ronnie Coleman was a beast in that gym. That was my favorite, looking at Ronnie Coleman and Baby J Cutler, Flex Wheeler. I never met Flex in person. But a lot of these cats, man, when you meet them, man, they can't even really, they neck so, muscles, shoulders, traps, everything so big. When I saw them in person, I was like, man, I don't want to look like that. No. At first, I thought about it, but I'm like, no, I don't want to get that big. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on my body. Because one thing I used to think about is, how am I going to look when I get older? See, when I was in my 20s, I was hitting it real hard. But I slowed down in my 30s from that. And when I hit 40 and up, I said, no, this have to be done different. See, as you get older, you should make more wiser decisions. You shouldn't get older and dumber. You should get older and wiser. Be smart and realize that this is a temple. I'm not here to say there's nothing wrong with working out. I'm talking about the abuse of working out. Overworking yourself and using these steroids and these drugs will kill you. You can Google it now. Of so many of the bodybuilders, how they look back then versus how they look now. It's a sad sight. And some of them still look average. They look good. They still, you can still see they rip, they cutting it, but some of them, man, it done turned into flab, wrinkled up, it don't look good. And you gotta ask yourself when you out there that young and hitting it like that, do I really know what I'm gonna look like doing it like this in the long run? Or should I say it in a better way? How would I look when I get older? You don't really know, do you? They got all these apps out now. This is how you would look in the 70s. This is how you would look in the 80s if you was an 80s baby. This is how you would look in the 60s. The question is, are you living clean, righteous living? And on that note, I'm going to end on that. Shalom.